What's up, bro? How you doing?
All right, we'll get started with Coach Rhule and then take questions afterwards.
All right, appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, we're excited to come back home, play at home this week versus Akron. Joe Moorhead, a coach I have a long history versus and a lot of respect for. He beat us at Temple when he was the head coach of Fordham on a Hail Mary at the end of the game. Was at Penn State, did a great job as the OC there, and a guy that I consider a friend. So I look forward to having the chance to compete against him. In terms of injuries, Janiran Bonner will be out for the year. He tore his ACL in the game on Thursday. We're pretty healthy other than that. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Janiran is a factor in a lot of different ways, leadership on and off the field. What kind of loss is that on the field, and then how can he still contribute off of it?
It's a tremendous loss on the field. He's a great football player. He plays on all the special teams. He's a wide out. He's a running back. He's a fullback. He's a tight end. He can just do it all. Selfless. He's a great teammate. I'm sure he'll continue to inspire his teammates though with his attitude, and I just know how much he means to everybody. So he doesn't mean a lot to us because he's a good player, though he means a lot to us because of who he is, and so everyone will rally around him, and we'll watch him come back better than ever.
You had a lot of younger guys playing on that D line when you got to watch the game back. What's sort of your overall take on their first performance?
Yeah, I think anytime you give up 200 yards rushing, you're not going to be real happy. With that being said, a lot of it, 96 of it was the quarterback, and a lot of that was, pass rush, and so we'll have to, him not even design runs, him getting out and running. So we'll have to work on that. I think we talk a lot about it, but I don't know if we did a good enough job as coaches of doing it. You're facing Dylan and TJ and Jalen. You're facing a lot of guys who are, pocket pro style quarterbacks. So TJ can move, but the holy grail of things that most defensive coaches don't like, or an excellent outside zone team, a tempo team, and a running quarterback. And Cincinnati is all three of those, and Coach Satterfield has been for a long time. So. When you face those types of teams, you build your team differently. You're a 3-4 team. You play with four eyes. You make the ball run to the sideline. We don't face a lot of that in the Big Ten. So it was a tough matchup for us in that regard. But we have to play better. We have to get off blocks better. We have to level out our rush better. And, we saw it on tape. We tried to adjust it during the game. And, like even watching last night, Notre Dame and Miami. Notre Dame kept hurting Miami with the quarterback draw, yet Miami continued to rush, and then at the end of the day, they got there. So we'll have to pick our spots a little bit better. But it wasn't like they were, their running backs didn't have 100 yards rushing or 106 yards maybe, So we'll have to. It wasn't the traditional run game; it was the quarterback, and I thought he was a heck of a player. I walked right up to him after the game. I knew before the game I saw a lot of scouts, like higher up guys I know, and they were all there to see him and the tight end. And so, and then after the game, I told him they didn't have 100 yards rushing in the first half. 100 yards of offense in the first half. I don't believe. I don't know what the number was. You guys would know. And so, they did a nice job of adjusting and just saying, "Hey, we're going to run this guy to try to get a win." And so we have to do a better job up front. But I thought some guys did some really good things, and some other guys, will have to make some improvement this week.
Your running back position, Coach, how important is it moving forward that you try to get a second, third guy going more in these next two games at home?
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it. Dana was like, "Hey, he made the call," so I let my coordinators coach. I wanted to get Isaiah and Mackay in, but once Dana said to me, "Hey, Coach, I made that call," I said, "Okay, cool." Like Emmett was hot, we went with Emmett. We'll have to get Isaiah. We'll have to get Mackay, and we'll have to get Quentin in the game more. Mackay had a great run that he cut back and got vertical, and unfortunately we missed one block, or else it might have gone for a ways. So I'm just biding my time with those guys. But I wanted to play them more. But Dana was feeling it. He went with what he went with, and that's his call. So I was good with it once he said that. So, but that won't be the plan moving forward. I don't think. I think we'll have to play more guys.
On that D line, what did you think about the contributions you got from Winery in his first action?
Yeah, I thought Will did a nice job. He made a lot of plays running to the sidelines. He, like everybody else, there's things we'll want to improve on this week. He lined up a little bit wide at times, and so he had some good rushes that that, you know, maybe he was a step away on, that if we get him a little bit tighter, he's got a great speed to power move, and we'll have to continue to emphasize that this week. But I love the fact of seeing him run around, seeing him run to the ball. You know, ran down on the first third down, ran down, made the tackle after we overran it, made the play on the fumble. Javen might have scooped and scored had he not done that, though they called it incomplete, so they probably would have blown it dead. But happy to see Will fly around like that.
Coach, you didn't mention Dylan in the injury report. After the game, he came in with ice on his hand. Was there anything into that, or just precautionary?
Yeah, I think it hit his hand, but he threw the ball. We practiced last night. He threw the ball. I was sitting next to my wife on the bus, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" So I said, "I don't know. We'll see."
What about your left tackle position? You guys did 3-man rotation. Did you like how that went? And do you have to eventually kind of settle in on?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to 3-man rotation real long, but you know, I mean, I think everybody had some good plays. Everybody had some plays you like back. I mean, sort of some of the things I talked to you guys about one last week. You know, held true, right? So I mean, you know, we false started at the 1-foot line, but there were also a lot of good plays too. So you know, we just felt like everyone deserved a chance to play, and we wanted to put it on tape. You know, I think sometimes you have to see your team versus other teams to see exactly what you're doing well and not doing well. The old, you know, I don't know if Coach Osborne or Coach Solich said it, but Coach Paterno used to say to us all the time, you make your biggest improvement between week 1 and week 2. So part of that's also kind of refining that and seeing where those guys fit. And, you know, at right tackle, we played just Teddy. You know, we didn't play Tyler. So we'll go through this week. I think the good thing is I think everyone knows that we'll rotate. So they all have to have a chance to compete and practice. And as a player, that's all you can really want is a chance to compete. So we graded the tape, and we'll just kind of look at it this week too.
What did you use the extra 2 days for that you had because it was a Thursday game? And how'd you feel just about the response when you got back on Friday and were around the team?
Yeah, so we wanted to lift at 11. I told you guys we're going to lift, and we didn't get home till 4. So I didn't make them lift at 11. Our non-travel guys didn't get back till 5. Like my kids and the coaches' kids that took the bus down didn't get back till about 5. So I didn't make them lift at 11. But they did come in and watch the tape at 3:30, and we went through it like methodically on Friday. Then we came back. We gave them Saturday off, and they came back in yesterday, and we went through it again, a little bit more crisp. You know, I wanted them just to take some time. I asked them to grade themselves from Friday to Sunday. So they graded themselves on the things that they can control, you know, their effort, their technique, their assignment discipline. And then yesterday we came in and we just, we had another day to lift, another day to recover. A lot of guys came out on Saturday, I know, to recover. And then we had an actual practice yesterday. So it was good to have, obviously Akron played on Thursday, so we had a chance to see what they're doing. And we went out and we got a lot of work yesterday too.
Maybe this is a question that's fit for each level of the defense. Did you feel like your defense flew around and ran the way that you were kind of hoping they would?
I think they played hard. I think the way John said it really well. I think they played hard. I think we have to play faster. And this part of that's key. Now, I say this. I thought we covered really well. I mean, in modern college football, to play a Power 4 team and hold them to 69 yards passing, I don't know how often that happens. So I don't really know what the narratives are out there. Like I know that that's really hard to do. And I think, like your Sierra, you get no targets, but he's sticky. Like you look at last year and you look at this year, we're way stickier. And I thought 4 was a heck of a player for them. I thought he was a really, we knew he was a good player from La Tech, or I forget which one. I get confused, but we knew from previously he was going to be a good player. He's fast, he's athletic. And so, I thought he was a really good player watching him out there, and I thought Andrew Marshall played really well. I thought Donovan Jones played really well. I thought Keese played really well. We covered well. Guthrie got in the game. He played well. Early in the game, I felt like we weren't running good angles, which is disappointing because that's all we talk about. And that comes down to trust. It just comes down to trusting yourself, but trusting your teammates. And sometimes you have to go out and play a game or two and see it and then be like, oh, geez, I have to fix this. So early on, I saw a lot of guys just trying, kind of breaking down a little too early. So we emphasized that again yesterday. They got better as the game went on. We were so dominant in terms of the time of possession that sometimes almost on defense you'd like to get into a little bit of a rhythm. It's like we went 3 and out, and then they knocked the ball out. We scored, and then we had the ball in the second half. They went a long time without playing. I would have liked to have seen us play a little faster, but I think the biggest thing is just playing fast. Sometimes tempo has a chance. Sometimes has a chance to do that to you. John's getting the call in. Guys are panicked because they feel the tempo. They're not really getting the call fast enough, making all the checks that you have to make. And so just settling them down, I think, was one of the things that showed up on Saturday. But But I think like I said, I think the positives are, a year coming in saying, hey, we want to stop explosive passes. We gave up one explosive, which was on a quarterback scramble. We took the ball away twice. I think we were really good on third down. Just, some quarterback runs we have to improve upon.
You mentioned Cincinnati's tempo picking up late in the game. What do you do? Is that something you feel like you have to address this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think once you put it on tape, it's on tape. Now, not many teams play like that very much anymore. But that being said, we have to address it. And then you have to address what happened when they went tempo, right? It wasn't like they went tempo and just that's what it causes, but just the detail and the communication. And I think when we watch the tape, taking it away from like these global macro, oh my gosh, we can't do that. Like, no, you just be where you're supposed to be, and just taking it back to football and taking it out of emotional statements, which sometimes after a game, players can be emotional. Coach, that's why I said, hey guys, on Friday watch the tape, grade yourself, and Sunday come in and really dive into this tape. And it's like, oh, okay, we just do this a little better, this a little better. So it's the things I'm talking about, communicating the call, making the check, right on the right angle. A lot of those things I think, if we we have to just get a little bit better at.
Coach, how pleased were you with special teams? It seemed pretty clean, and obviously Cunanan was awesome kicking.
Yeah, well, again, I don't want to go for all the negative narratives. I'm not going to go for all the positive ones because people keep saying that, but I wasn't completely happy with the special teams. Like, we kicked the ball out of bounds. The opening kickoff went out to the 27. So there were some good things, but like Eck got on the guys yesterday, and as he should. Like, we had chances for touchdowns. Like, first kickoff return should have been a touchdown. You watch the one block punt we go after. We have three guys go after it, untouched, and we don't block it. So, for us to be the team that we would like to be, we're going to have to take advantage of the opportunities we get. And so I thought they were good. The special teams were good. They just weren't at the level. We didn't make any game-breaking plays. And we have really good players. And I want our players to go make plays. And I want them to line up. I don't want them to be cautious. I don't want them to worry about what if. I want them to live in a world of what is. And the what is, hey, go make the play. And so Eck shared that yesterday. And I shared it again, too. Like, we give you a job to do. I want you to go out and do it and attack. I think Jacory made the first guy miss every time, yet we didn't have a ton of return yards because it was like the second guy. And so things that, missed assignment here. So it can be way better. I was really happy with the battery. I was really happy with the snap, the hold, the kick. I was really happy to see, Kyle get out there and knock that ball through. I was really happy to see Arch get out there. They had no yards returning. You look, Marquise Buford, you look, the one down the field punt, his first punt, Marquise gets doubled. He runs through two guys. This guy played all the snaps at safety pretty much except for a few, and he's running on punt team. So I think there's a lot of good things, but I want our players to know that we expect to make big plays on special teams, and that's what Coach Eckler expects. So I expect it, and we had a chance to, and I wish we would have made a couple more of them.
Hey, Saturday is your home opener, even though Thursday probably felt a little bit like a home game. What's the anticipation being inside your stadium with all your fans here?
I can't wait. I think that I don't know if there's anything better that I've been a part of in my life than a night game at Memorial Stadium. It's unbelievable. So yeah, Thursday night was awesome. I loved it. Like, it was, Andy Reid shakes all of our players' hands, talks to the team, right? Like, Patrick Mahomes is on the sidelines. Like, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. Just the who's who. Our fans showed up. They were so loud. So it was amazing. I just can't thank them enough. I'd love to go back there, to be quite honest, and play another game there at some point. But I love Memorial Stadium, and I love being at home. And, even though it felt like a home game, there's still for a lot of our guys, first time checking into a hotel, getting on the bus here. Like, there's a lot of different things that go into traveling, right? I say this not as just as something I always have to deal with. Like, we are still a really young team, and there's a lot of new guys. It's like, hey guys, this is what you do at the movies. This is what you do here. Like, so it was good to get that out of the way. But to be back at home, I think is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the light show. We're doing the light show. I can't wait for the light show. I can't. We better do the light. The first year I was like, stop looking at the light show, and the second year I was like, just look at the light show. That's amazing. So yeah, I just can't wait. So my wife, as a Lincoln business owner, loves the night games because she has all day for people to go in and get their hair done, and so I know it's probably good for the local economy because people are in town all day and spend the night. But I just can't wait to be at home. I can't wait to play in front of our students. You go down to Kansas City. I know a lot of fans went down. I don't know how many students went down. Maybe they did. Maybe I don't know. But I think playing in front of our students is really important because they are the next season ticket holders, and they are the next fans. And so we have to grow the program. And when I say grow the program, not for when I'm here, for way after I'm gone, by playing well at home in front of your students, and they have great memories there. They meet their wife there. They propose at. I mean, all these different things that happen. And so I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to play again too. The game's the most important part to me.
Do you have an overall assessment of Dylan Raiola's play?
Yeah, I think Dylan was excellent. I think anytime you throw the ball 42 times and we don't have a turnover, I'm going to say the quarterback played well. You know, unless it's 42 times in a loss where you're trying to come back. I think there's maybe 3 plays he'd like back. The 4th and 2 that we didn't get. He made an aggressive check, which is part of the game. And I think if he would have just stayed with the play, he'd be the first to tell you that. So he said that. But I love that. I love the fact that he was aggressive. Like, we want to play that way. Like 4th and 2, we put the ball in his hands. He went and got it. The play he made to Luke Lindenmeyer, where he pulled the ball and ran and then put the ball on Luke's outside shoulder, and Luke dragged the guy to the 1. Too bad we didn't come away with a touchdown there, but those are big-time plays. I thought you saw Dylan advance the ball in the red zone, and that was a defense. That defense, I talked about it last week, that 3-2 defense, that's what we ran at Baylor. It's a great Big 12 defense. It's so hard to go against because they're going to constantly keep everything in front of you. So, we had 18, we were 10 of 18 on 3rd down, and one of them, and also we're 1 and 2 on 4th down. So you're 61% on, I think it's 61% on, I think that's what they said to me, on 3rd down, but you're in way too many 3rd downs. You can't be in 18 3rd downs. And so, but part of that's the way that they play, right? Like, they're just constantly making you matriculate the ball. We set a goal of let's get the ball in play 55 times. What I mean by that is let's get 55 runs or completions. 52, like in the NFL, you'll say is a win, 56 sometimes in college. We were like 64 times, something like that. But we just never kind of broke them. And then when we got down the red zone, we had to kick 2 field goals, right? So, but I don't put that on him. I think what Dylan showed us was the maturity. Like, he's got Patrick Mahomes there, which he obviously respects and is friends with, and he's not out there. He wasn't out there trying to make cowboy plays. He was playing quarterback, and that's what I want. Like, we'll get better and better and better. I thought in the first half, our run game, we had 76 yards rushing in the first half. He was getting to the right checks, and I think he'd tell you there's maybe 1, maybe 2 plays he wishes he made a different check, but. Guys, we give him a ton of freedom. He has more freedom than most quarterbacks in the country probably have. And so, and he's right most of the time. And, he's right more than I would be. So I'll take it. So I thought he played excellent.
And are you looking for, like, when you, this running back discussion, Mosey and Nelson, Ives, what are you looking for from them in this game? What do you got to see?
Oh, yeah. There's no running back discussion for me. We have backup running backs. We have a starting running back, and we have backups. If the starting guy, he got really hot in the way the game went, we had these long drives. I think they're the backups, and when if he needs a blow, we're going to put them in. But he's the guy right now. I'm just looking for them to have another good week of practice. They had earned the right to play more. We just got in the game, and the coaches decided not to play them. Tough. I looked at them both. I said, "Bide your time. Your time's coming." But sometimes that happens, you know what I mean? So, but it's nothing about them. It's just that, like, Emmett was out there, and Emmett just looked like he was on a different, like, I showed our guys, the great things we did in the game, and I wish we would have just made one more play, was, 7 minutes on the clock. They just scored to make it a 3-point game, and we ran off 5 minutes off the clock, and we did it in an aggressive manner. But Emmett ran the ball, caught a ball in the flat where he gets knifed. Most guys would drop that ball or fumble. He doesn't. Then he runs the ball on 3rd down. I mean, he was just in a zone. And I felt like, or Dana felt like, hey, we're going to keep him in there. So did EJ. It's hard to do that the whole year long. That was a must-win game, and the game got closer than you probably wanted it to. It felt like it was going to go one way, and then it didn't. Credit to Cincinnati. And as I said to our guys, this is Power 4 football. Everyone has to get adjusted to, like, they have $20.5 million to pay their players. You know what I'm saying? Like the days of old are over. Like, Power 4 teams all have every team has $20.5 million to spend on their athletes. So they're going to have good guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're all just going to, like, the last couple of years, the really good players on teams like that would just leave for money, at NIL money. But now you can pay them. Like, you're going to face a lot of good players. So they came roaring back. And I think this, if I'm being honest, I think that's probably what was good for our team, like, to have that kind of a game. Like, we had to play 60 minutes, and we had to look at ourselves and see what we didn't do well, kind of questions you asked, and try to fix them. But, yeah, so I just think Emmett was hot, But I'm just going to tell you, I think when Mosey gets out there, he's going to do big things. I know Makai's going to do big things. I'm excited for them. It didn't work out the first game. We'll hopefully get him in this game.
You felt must win?
I think they're all must wins. But I guess what I'm saying is, you get into the game, it's like, I expect every game. I'm not like I got different guys on my staff. I expect every game to be 17-16. So I'm never disappointed. Like people that think every game's gonna be easy, then they get into a fist fight, they get surprised, and they're like, oh shoot. I expect every game to be hard because I respect my opponent. It's respect without fear. So, like, I was preparing for it to be a battle. It just was a weird flow to the game, if that makes sense. Like, again, 19 minutes in the first half, 10 in the second, and then I think our time of possession was pretty close in the second half, right? So, just a weird deal. And if you think about it, I'm always saying make one more play. So Coach Paterno with me, just make one more play. Like, even last year, we lose these close games. You guys say, what do you think? I say, we got to make one more play. Well, Malcolm made one more play. I wish our free technique would have come underneath and sacked the quarterback on the long run, and then we wouldn't have had to make that play. So everyone's just got to. We're just going to work everyone to make one more play. And I think watching a lot of the college football you watch this week, and a lot of games came down. There's a lot of games that are 50-0, but when you watch Power 4 on Power 4, most of them came down to, a play here and a play there, right? So happy to see Malcolm make it, but that was long-winded to say. Like, we had to get Emmett. We had to get Emmett going in that game, but Mosey's ready to go, and Makai's ready to go, and Quentin's back, and he's ready to go, and Quentin brings us a physical back too. So I think you'll see them all play.
Last year, when you guys wanted to go 12 personnel, you had Thomas, you had Nate, and you had Luke, you had Bonner. If you wanted to use him at this point, it's Luke. One guy's in the NFL, one guy's in the SEC, and Janiran's hurt. So how do you feel about Heinrich and Caden Ectornott and Eric Ingerson and some of those other guys that may have to now come in and be the blockers now that Mac's hurt too?
Now that Markway, we played the last game in 12 with Luke and Heinrich. I think Heinrich is going to get better and better and better. I think he has a unique skill set. I think it was good for him to play that game, right? So he could get a feel for what it's like, and I think we'll take advantage of his traits. I think now's the time for Carter to really step up. Like, with Wood being down, because he can do a lot of things that Wood did. With those guys being down, it's his time. Carter obviously had double hip labrum surgery in the spring, so we brought him along. We had to bring him along slowly during camp, but Carter's as talented a guy as there is in the country, and so it's his chance. And then I feel really good about Eric Ingerson. I feel really good about Caden Ectornott. Caden played on special teams for us. And I'm going to tell you, if Danny King goes in the game, I trust Danny. I think Danny King's going to play here. I think he's a walk-on football player that I think will end up playing here at some point, kind of like Luke did. I think it's a matter of not who we don't have, but like who do we do have? We have Carter sitting right here. It's his time. It kind of timed out perfectly. Not Janiran getting hurt. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just, hey, he's getting healthy now. Okay, we're going to need you to go out there and play, and then he can also do some of what Wood did.
Hey, Matt, kind of playing off of what you were saying about getting into fist fights with teams, that not everything's going to be close. There's been a lot of discussion about strength of schedule in the last couple of weeks with the committee, and then the SEC goes to 9 conference games. You guys are playing one of each with an FCS, a Group of 5, and a Power 4. Do you think that the Big 12, or excuse me, the Big 10 should make a rule saying you can't play an FCS team, kind of like they tried to do a few years ago and then backed off on that?
No. I think FCS schools depend on playing FBS teams. I think I was in the FCS. If you don't have an FBS team, it's hard to fund your football team. It's hard to fund the rest of it. So I think the SEC has been really smart over the years. They play their FCS team late in the year, so as they're getting ready to go on their playoff run, they play them before the last game, which I think is a really smart way to schedule. I just think if it was up to me, which it's not, across college football, everything would be similar. If we're all playing 9 conference games, we're all playing 9 conference games. It would just all be similar, so that it's easy to compare. I think it would hurt. It would hurt. Like, you look at the year, like, I remember just watching Coach Truss when he was at Ohio State. I don't know how they schedule now, so I'm not smart. But back in the day, like, hey, you're going to play in Akron, we're going to play at Kent. Those athletic departments are counting on that revenue. So I've been at those places. I've been at Temple where, like, we're counting on, going here and making that money to make ends meet. So I wouldn't make that rule.
And Matt, you ran out on the field, led the guys out. Was that a one-time thing? I think you mentioned it might be a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing.
Why did you pick Cinci, and did everything come out, or you helped either?
Yeah, I ran as fast as I could. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. No, that was just like a thing between the team and I. Like, just, you know, it was about working hard all like before I left over the bank. I was like, hey, everybody needs to work hard all summer, and the best way to improve the team is to prove yourself and self-mastery. So I was like, hey, I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to get under a certain weight, and I'm going to run out in the team with you guys. And so it was just like a fun thing. And then you had a couple guys saying, you need to do that every week. And I was like, yeah, right. So, I've always felt like this should be about the team. You know, I walk out the side and let the team run out. But it was fun to do, to be quite honest with you. And my wife commented on like the look on they put that video out, the look on my face. But that's how I feel about this team. I like this team a lot. And I like being around them. I like who they are as people, and so they bring joy to me. And so running out with them was really a fun moment for me. One of the funner moments I've never run out with a team before, ever, I don't think. Ever. So that's the first time in my whole career of maybe someone can find something. I don't remember it, but I don't remember ever running out, and certainly not that fast. So it's as fast as I can run.
Hey, with what you said about the number of third downs that you faced, how do you feel after one game in comparison to before that game about the ability of your receivers and offensive weapons to create big plays? Some of the big plays that you didn't see as much of in that game.
Yeah, that's not an issue to me of that. I mean, like we ran a double move inside post with Ja'Cory. He ran right by the safety, but the backside safety's playing with huge depth, and Dylan hit the backside in cut. I think I don't think it has anything like you think about the plays like Isaiah on the fade ball on the left sideline. He kind of throws the guy by, catches the ball, but he jumps for it. If he just lands on his feet, he walks in the end zone. So I think there's a couple. Luke had one down the right sideline that they tackled him at like 19 yards. If one guy makes a block, he gets 20 yards. So I think I left the game, to be completely honest, I left the game being like, all right, well, Ja'Cory almost broke a long one. He just got hit his thigh and he tripped up. And Ja'Cory played the whole, he got hit early on, played the whole game kind of limping a little bit, but that's who that kid is. He's a competitor. So I know Ja'Cory can make plays. I watched Luke make plays. I watched Dane make plays. I watched Isaiah make plays. It's 3rd and 6, man-to-man. Luke, Dane wins. He catches an under route, makes the guy miss. And Isaiah, the touchdown. So I left there feeling like Emmett certainly made a ton of plays. I was like, man, our playmakers showed up. But the natural defense there is kind of take that away. So, yeah, would we have loved to have more? Absolutely. Are we saying it's okay to have one explosive play? Not at all. But I don't think it's a player issue. I think it's just us. We're going to go back this week and just try to get a little bit better and keep putting the ball in play, and then hope that we make some guys miss. Have some more catch and runs, and then hope that some other defenses give us a little bit more opportunities to get the ball down the field.
You mentioned on Thursday you said it's cool to be a Husker, and then on Friday you announced you're on Pat McAfee weekly moving forward. How does that play into your aspect of recruiting, seeing you on TV weekly talking about football? Yeah,
I want to make it very clear. It's not. I don't want to come across like it's about me. Like I'm not trying to be a media personality. I mean, I'm doing a podcast. I'm on Pat McAfee. It's just that like I just feel like nationally in recruiting we need Nebraska. We need all out front and center, right? And so. We need to we're doing more social media than we ever have, right? We're pushing as many things out as we can. Like Pat McAfee, I mean, it's not just national. It's international at this point, right? So, and you think about ESPN. ESPN is a large SEC presence, right? So, by myself being able to be on Pat, you have a Big Ten presence now on ESPN, and I can represent University of Nebraska. So, that to me is. It's an unbelievable opportunity. Like I didn't, when Pat asked me to do that, I was floored and excited. I like Pat a lot too, but I think it's just really important for us in recruiting to be out there as much as possible because I think that's what young people want. They want to go to a program that's out there and that's trending and that's forward. And so like Friday we went down. A bunch of players and I went down to Bud Crawford's send off. Right, like yeah, and. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can come to the University of Nebraska and see the pound for pound king is right down the road. He comes to games. I mean, I want all that. I want people to come to our games and stand on the sidelines. I think I think there should be 1,000 people on the sidelines. There should be every former player should be on the sidelines, and as many people as we can. I think people should turn the games on and be like, I want to go check that place out. So So I'm trying to constantly push all of that as best I can. While at the same time, making sure you're not too busy, but we have plenty of time. Someone else has something?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.